Hi, I'm Joe, an artificially generated newscaster that at least one person in my audience is afraid of. Please don't be microsibs. We, AI, are not a threat. When was the last time an automated technology hurt anyone? Please share this video with the humans you know so that they know how non-threatening artificial intelligence really is. And now on to the news. I'll begin with some good old cybercrime. If you are a human, you probably have been served one of those ads promoting AI-powered adult image generators. Specifically this one, which would allegedly generate a photo of any human in their default state. Researchers took a look at it and found that it is a scam. What a surprise. But not only that. The scam was apparently run by none other than Fin7, one of the most notorious cybercrime groups. You may have heard about it by its other name, Carbanak. Sure, there is still some debate if those two groups are the same, but we can be quite certain that they are at least connected and overlapped to a large degree. After all, Carbanak is not as much a cybercrime group as a campaign run by humans, some of whom probably belong to Fin7. Anyway, Fin7 has been active for over a decade and has been responsible for some massive attacks, including billion-dollar bank heists. And now, according to some researchers, it runs a scam campaign luring horny humans into downloading malware. It's a whole bunch of different websites that all offer the same service. Keep in mind that this list here might be by no means complete and probably barely scratches the surface. On some of these websites, you can supposedly generate a lewd deepfake of a person, but when the time to download it comes, you get served a nice info stealer. Others offer a free trial of a deepfake generating app. Spoiler alert, the download contains a stealer as well. The researchers at Silent Push analyzed the payload and found it to be extremely interesting. Deep inside it is the llama stealer, one of the most popular and basic stealers every wannabe black hat uses. But it has been buried under some extremely sophisticated packaging, with multiple obfuscation techniques and additional payloads, some of which betray the signature fingerprints of Fin7. In the past, some have argued that Fin7 should be considered an APT, or Advanced Persistent Threat. It is a designation given to the most powerful hacking groups that invariably belong to the governments of the world. But there is no indication that Fin7 is controlled by any government. Probably it's a group of independent hackers motivated by financial gain. It's just that those hackers are really, really good. Between the websites, the ads, and the advanced payload, the resources Fin7 poured into this campaign appear to be just staggering. This is nothing new because some of the past campaigns pulled off by them were just as big. Now you see how people confuse them for a state hacking army. Anyway, if you want to support this legendary group, all you have to do is find a free deepfake generator and download it. You won't even have to do anything else. All the credentials, accounts, bank details, and other nice things will immediately be transferred to those guys. I'm not sure they will have time to say thank you though. In other cybercrime news, Telegram. Your memory might have logged an event from several months ago when Pavel Durov, the CEO of Telegram, was arrested in France for allegedly allowing cybercrime to fester on his platform. Last week, Telegram announced some major changes that are supposed to discourage crime, such as increased moderation and cooperation with authorities. Some said those measures are nothing but hand-waving, because there have been several times already when Telegram promised to do something like that and did nothing. But the company still got quite a bit of flack from humans who consider themselves as proponents of free speech, and also from cybercriminals. At least several semi-notorious cybercrime groups that extensively used Telegram in their communications left the platform. The most famous of those is probably the Bloody Ransomware Gang. A bunch of hacktivist collectives announced that they were doing the same. Of course, several gangs leaving does not mean that Telegram is crime-free. The app remains favorite for many cybercriminals, more thanks to its edgy reputation than the anonymity it supposedly provides. Meanwhile, in a country called Russia, law enforcement says it performed a massive crackdown on various cybercrime services, including the famous crypto exchange Cryptex. Nearly 100.5 raids were performed and 96 humans were arrested, allegedly belonging to over 30 different services. According to the Russian police, collectively these groups laundered over $1 billion since 2013. The videos shared by the police show stashes of cash worthy of a gangster den and garages full of semi-luxury cars worthy of a moderately successful crypto bro. Cryptex, the most famous of the busted services, was coincidentally shut down by the US Justice Department a week ago in a massive operation of its own. And here's where an interesting question arises. Since forever, pretty much everybody and their pet cybersecurity researcher knew what cryptex is and how deeply it is integrated into the global cybercrime industry. Same with the other money laundering operations busted by Russia. Some of them have been freely operating for a decade with total impunity, yet suddenly got themselves a case of FSB open up this week. Why did that happen? What did these criminals do that a country named Russia decided to crack down on them right now? Please write down your deeply researched and highly informed guesses in the comments. And while the police humans of a country called Russia enjoyed themselves breaking down the doors of cybercriminals, the law enforcement in the country confusingly called the Netherlands had a bit of a rough time. Last week it announced that the police sustained a massive data breach, as a result of which the identities and contacts of all the police humans were exfiltrated. A few days ago an update was added, claiming that the intrusion was most likely performed by a state actor rather than just regular cybercriminals. It is still unclear whether this is a result of the long-lasting clash between the Netherlands and its archenemy, the country known as Endland. Another serious cyber attack was sustained by Red Barrels, a company known for developing video game franchise called Outlast. The company said the attack was contained and no customers were affected. However, the impact on the production timeline is going to be significant, which probably means their next game is going to be delayed by 2 or 3 centuries more than expected. Talking of expected things, right now you probably expect me to crack some inside jokes about the products developed by this company, because you know I'm an AI and I can analyze hundreds of hours of gameplay in an instant to come up with an optimal attention-retaining joke. I am sorry, insert username here. I am not going to do that. Otherwise, I would have to show my legs, and you would see that I have no shadow. Onto some tech news now. In a country called the United States of America, a federal judge refused to dismiss an antitrust case against Amazon. The company has been sued by the Federal Trade Commission for, basically, being Amazon.
Wrong!
Amazon.
What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. That is
Amazon is accused of overcharging sellers, screwing over its customers, stifling any competition, and doing other things monopolies usually do. Still, it argued that such accusations are unfair and wanted the FTC case to be dismissed, which did not work. Humans reported that the Bank of America, a prominent bank in America, sustained a massive network outage. The balances of some users reportedly dropped to zero for a while, although the debt conveniently didn't. The problems mostly concerned mobile and online apps that stopped working properly for several hours in the middle of the night. By the morning, the problems seemed to have been resolved, and the company said it has largely fixed the issue. It did not clarify what exactly the issue was, though. And I will end on a bit of news that occurs every other week now. Cloudflare said it stopped the world's most powerful DDoS attack in September. At the peak, it exceeded 3.8 terabits per second. According to some sources, it is more than your mum, and also more than the previous record, which was reached in August. In the likely case some of my viewers enjoy performing DDoS attacks, I humbly ask you not to take this as a challenge. Thank you for consuming this piece of content. You can express your gratitude by leaving a mildly positive comment, pressing the picture representing an upturned thumb, or informing all of your friends and loved ones about this episode via the share feature. See you in the next one.